I guess when you're having fun, time flies, ain't it? That's right.
The TJ. That's the right.
Oh, there she is. See,
Mm-hmm.
keeps doing that.
All right, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right. Okay, sorry, I don't know what happened, but I
No,
don't know how far. Okay.
I think the live ends on the 1 hour mark.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
and
I
we
was,
because
I was
we're having
talking
so
about,
much fun, we didn't realize that the 1 hour
we
was up.
didn't realize it, right? So
Yeah.
I was talking about the fertilizer strip test that um, Dr. Wellington actually wrote a nice little book about, whereby the farmer uses one row as a reference row, and they fertilize, and then based on the intensity of those forages, the intensity of the green of those forages, they can determine how much fertilizer needs to be applied to the rest of the pasture. And this is, I would say, appropriate technology. He wrote the book in the 80s. It's still relevant even now, and it will help us to fertilize at the optimal level. So, and it's not just enough to do the ammonium sulfate and so on. We need to remember that the micronutrients.
I think we just lost her. Yeah, these dogs are going off. I don't know what's going on tonight. Is it a full moon? Is it a full moon, folks? Does everybody know if it's a full moon? Is it a
That's why
full
it's so
moon out?
crazy, right?
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, tonight is just one problem after another.
That's what happens when you have fun and you're walking in faith with God. The devil tries to stop you.
Well, you ain't stopping us, I can tell you that. We're just gonna keep going. Okay, you were
Right,
saying?
right. So I was saying with the strip test and we're doing the fertilization, we have to remember that micronutrients are also very important. So selenium, as the vets and Khalil was pointing out, needs to be supplemented. Proper irrigation needs to occur, have them at the correct time. That's how you're going to help minimize the deficiencies that you might see. And then, of course, you supplement with free choice minerals where the animals self-regulate their intake to ensure that you're not seeing any.
She's gone again. Tonight is definitely a special night because I don't know what's going on. Tonight is special. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm not sure how far you heard, but I was just telling you that the animals need to self-regulate their mineral intake. And then, of
Okay.
course, feed concentrate feed as a supplement as part of a holistic approach to nutrition. And I know, I'm a big fan of the partial mixed ration which is the PMR and the total mixed ration regime. It's kind of like when you eat your Sunday dinner, you have your chicken leg, you have a little curry goat, you have your rice and peas, and you have your vegetables. You all eat it one time, and you get all of the wholesome goodness of all of the food groups.
Got it. All right. Any other question, folks? Yes, Paul. I know I got Flo, and Flo ain't working too right tonight. um, So, any other questions? Dr. Young, you got any tough questions? This is a tough forum. We're going to try to make this tough on Doc tonight. But I appreciate it, Doc. I appreciate you coming on and sharing this information. Can you see them? See any of the questions that are happening here?
I see one here is talking about protein, certain phases, and if this will be focused on COVID-19, would like to know the economic benefit. Is it cheaper? Right. So whether or not it's cheaper for your operation needs to be determined by the farm, and that's the reason why we keep on pushing record keeping. If it is that, you know, you see an added benefit for much lower cost, then go for it. You know, I always say, what is the return on investment? That's something that we always try to stress for. I know that some people would look on average daily gain and average daily feed intake, but that's not necessarily what you should focus on. It should be your return on investment. And the reason why I say this is I can formulate a diet that gives you excellent average daily gain and excellent feed efficiency. And boy, you're going to be so broke.
Oh, speaking of that, let's talk about the money behind this. Yeah, because at the end of the day, if you can't afford it, then it makes no sense. The return on investment isn't there. So you have to calculate that for yourself, return on investment. So you're saying this is a very cost-effective feed that can get similar results to the high-performance feed.
Correct. Be it 17, 17.5, or 18%.
Okay.
You look on your return on investment.
And there's a question here. Is this feed for dairy animals also?
Right. So I would recommend this for dairy animals that are milking less than 20 liters, that are mid-lactation or late lactation. I know of some instances where I think the last time I went to a dairy board presentation, the average milk production was 6 liters. So if it's a 6 liter, then definitely it would more than meet it. In fact, you know, you can get 8 to 9 liters of milk production with good quality forage. And then now you add the concentrate on top of that to push you over the 15 to the 20 liters. So yes, it can be fed to animals based on their milk production.
And what is Hyper's retail suggested retail price? And each bag is how heavy is each bag?
I'm not in the retail business. I'm not in the retail business. So I can't tell you that. Contact your local Hyper representative for the exact price. And remember, you know, I would encourage people, economies of scale. If you can come together as a group, buy in bulk, you can get a much better price.
Mr. Bernard. Okay. So Hyper doesn't have a suggested retail price?
No, Hyper does have a suggested retail price.
That's what I'm asking. What is the suggested retail price?
I don't know it. Hello, can you answer that, please? I don't know it. I'm sorry.
And what's the you know the weight of the bag. Each bag is how heavy.
25 kg. Yeah, 25 kg.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I don't know how much pound that is. About 50
It's about 50 pounds, yeah.
Okay. And Mr. Bernard asked, what about drugs? What does that mean?
So the only drug that we have in it, if you could classify it as a drug, we don't have any antibiotics in it. In fact, most of Hyper feeds are antibiotic free. The only feed that we have that has antibiotics today are broiler starter grower and or pig-free starter and starter. All of our other feeds are antibiotic free. We believe in relying on organic acids. But for this particular feed itself, we use monensin, which is an ionophore. It controls coccidiosis.
And that's the only medicine that's in it?
That's the only medicine that's in it.
So, for full disclosure, we had Ruth, and what's his name?
Byron.
Ruth and Byron from Ruby Dairy, Goat Dairy, right? And they made a comment. They had a comment that struck me that said they use one feed, they don't use the other because it has medication in it. So then I privately asked.
To my knowledge, both feeds have chemicals in them.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that our feed does not have an antibiotic in it. I personally don't even like to put antibiotics in feed.
Okay, because I privately asked both company representatives that I know, and they both said, yo, I don't know what she's talking about.
Yeah. I heard about that. She had some concerns. The only thing I can think of would be the monensin, and actually monensin has been shown in numerous research trials to actually increase milk production. One thing that it can do, if it's a high fat producing animal, it can reduce it slightly by about 0.5%, the butter fat. But other than that, milk production yield increases. And because the milk production yield increases and the milk protein increases, then, there's a trade-off where you have that 0.5 to 1% drop in butter fat. So that's the only thing
Any other questions that you haven't addressed? Stanford Hamilton, I see where you're going there, son. I don't see any other questions here that is relevant to what we're talking about. I'm waiting to see if any other questions will come up. Is there anything that you really want the public to know or farmers to know about the feed that you're very proud of somebody who worked on it? Is there something about it that
I have two feeds that I'm really proud of, and one is for our internal operations, best dressed chicken. And the other one is this one. I mean, when I finished this formulation, I was like, whoa, this is pretty bad. I mean, whoa, the level of bypass protein in it, meeting the amino acid requirements of the animal. You still have enough protein in there to meet the nitrogen requirements of the microbe. It's a game changer as far as I'm concerned. It still has the ammonium chloride, which actually, I should point out, ammonium chloride isn't something that you normally feed. So you don't see it in cattle feed, and you don't really see it in dairy feed. But there is a whole bunch of information out there how ammonium chloride can actually improve your feed efficiency for these classes of animals. So just being able to add ammonium chloride, which is a little pricey, into a diet that is cost effective. I mean, I'm just happy that Khalil came to me with the information, the data that's out there, and said, please, Doc, I beg you, do this for them now. And I say, all right, I hear you. I hear the cries, and I did it, and I really love it. So it has Stelmanas in it, I can't stress that enough.
There's a question that says, do you recommend adding extra ammonium chloride? But you based on your research and so you think there's enough in it?
There's enough in it. And remember, guys, too much of a good thing is bad for you, because even water can kill you.
Well, you seem to have all the really good comebacks. I didn't realize tonight would be so entertaining, I must add. Hey, Ramon, big up, respect, Virgin. I see you. So to conclude this really great discussion that we've had here, what would be your best pitch? Or what's the key pitch you would make to farmers when they're considering
feeding? Like, if they're gonna give this feed a shot, what would be your pitch to them? What they should pay attention to make a decision?
I would say pay attention to the economics. I know some people would say, boy, Doc, you're a scientist. But what they don't realize that a nutritionist is probably the most business-minded of all scientists. We look on prices every single day and we try to come up with the best scenario possible. So look at the economics. Cheapest is not always the best. Same thing for expensive. What's the middle ground? What are your animals telling you? What's your data telling you? Farm record. What is it telling you? When you compare, whenever you're making any switch at all, when these guys come with a new and improved ingredient, I have my research facility across from the feed mill where I test it under scientific conditions. You don't have scientific conditions, but you know your animals. Test a new product against what you know. Try to keep conditions as equal as possible. And listen to the animals. Observe them. They will tell you, in addition to your calculations on return on investment, what's the best feed for them and for your pocket.
So what about the folks? What about the show goat folks? That money is not an issue. They just feed animal and just take them to Denby. What about those folks?
Okay. Well, we have an 18% ration if money is not an issue for them. I believe that's the highest out there, 18%. We have the highest goat ration. Yeah. If money is not an issue for them, we welcome your business. All are welcome. All will be treated equally, and all will have a nutritionist to visit them on their farm when they're hyper customers. Free of charge, by the way.
So you only service hyper customers?
I know Khalil goes to some Nutromix customers too.
No, Khalil service his customers. The people that he thinks or people that he supports and who supports him, that's who he
No. Khalil, if somebody calls up Khalil and say I'm having a problem, I need your opinion, he will go.
That's what I'm saying. He doesn't care which company you
yeah, he doesn't care. Right. I agree. He doesn't care. I agree.
Yeah. You know what I mean? But I appreciate that. But I know he still,
I'm the same with you.
Corporate flag.
I'll come visit you.
Yeah,
I know Dr. Young has my information, but that was before I was hired.
Yeah, he waves his corporate flag all the time. But you're welcome to come by and see our little operation that we got going on. We're trying to be the little train that could, or whatever they call. That baby. What's that?
Yeah.
The little train that could.
Thomas the train.
Yeah, that's us. That's us.
You know what? I like this forum because by having everybody that has different points of view challenging each other and helping each other out, that's actually quite good. I mentioned earlier that, I've helped out Dr. Young. She has helped me out too. So, of course, this was before we were competitors, but we're still very good friends. We talk. And I think just having divergent opinions challenges us and say, hey, let me look into this. Let me see how we can help the customer. At the end of the day, as you rightly said, the winners, customers. Kind of like when it was only cable and wireless out there, and then digital came, and just all of a sudden we start getting cell phone rates that's cheaper than elsewhere in the world. Who won? Caribbean people, the Jamaican people. Same thing here. When we have honest discussion, and the industry can only go forward. At the end of the day, our true enemy is actually the scrub goat that's coming from Australia. It's the imported mutton that's coming from New Zealand. When we can truly say that we're supplying more than 50% of our meat requirements locally, that's when I say we're all winning. So the true enemy is actually the dump meat products that's coming here on our shores.
Well said, Doc, well said. And that's why we have a platform like this to bring everybody at the table to discuss the issues that face us, whether it's a new feed or it's a new way of running an operation, or it's, some, like Khalil's talking about TMR. Well, he and I have been talking about it for years, but whatever it is.
Have you been converted as yet? We can take it to some customers that
I've been converted as a TMR customer before you guys even thought about it. Ask Khalil about me.
All right,
I've been bugging Khalil about this from before I own a goat. I called Khalil. Khalil's the first guy I called when we decided to start a farm. I said, this is how I want to do it. I'm tired of the guessing game. I want to know exactly what I'm feeding.
Right. I remember that with the TMR. I know the reason why Khalil loves it so much. He has the specialized feed formulation software for it. And every time he visits a farm, it's a specialized feed formulation. Yeah. So it's not a one-size-fits-all. And he will adjust your concentrates, your forages, your molasses as needed. So that is one thing that is just priceless.
I will tell everybody watching right now, that's a game changer. That will change the game. TMR will change the game for all farmers that tries it. Because you're not guessing.
Yeah, you're not spell and guessing, and it's a licensed nutritionist that gives you the information.
Yeah, and I am all for it. So, Khalil, let's go, bro. Let's go. So, you know what? You mentioned something about the dumped meat before we even conclude. I want to have your take on how to move this sector forward. Because you seem very passionate about the small ruminant sector. You wouldn't be in it if you weren't, so
no.
What is your take on how do we move this forward in a general sense, not just the feed sector of it, or just overall, what would you like to see happen to move it forward?
Overall, what I would like to see happening is the use of appropriate technology. This is my catchphrase. And the reason why I say this is you can have a foreigner come and they tell you that, oh yeah, we can get your cost of production down. And how they try to do it is they try to import what they know from their country, not listening to the indigenous knowledge here in Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. Don't get it twisted. We're brilliant people. But what we need to do is leverage that brilliance, leverage that organic knowledge that we have, and then just step it up a notch. So just take from them what we need, apply it to our context, make sure that it works for us. For example, the type of forages that we use, especially for small ruminants, your granny used to tell you from a long time that the bread nut was good, that the wild tambourine was good, quick stick was good. But what she never really told you was how to grow it in a way that you can harvest it in 3-month intervals, 6-month intervals to dry and give to the animals or to conserve it. That's where you take their information, right? The grasses, sometimes, introduced species are good, but other times when you look on it and say, boy, no matter how I introduce this grass, this little scrub grass always come up and just overtake the whole area. How can you utilize that scrub grass, that you call it, to ensure that you're meeting your dry matter intake? Perhaps it's through the use of inoculants. I know Khalil has some interest in that. To, the use of inoculants to improve the digestibility of this so-called scrub grass. So that's the thing. I want everybody to just be deliberate. I know C.P. Lecky, the reason why he was such a great scientist was he was an observer more than anything else. So he would sit for hours in the pasture, just looking at the animals, just observing the environment. And if we can do likewise and also collect data and then take some of the knowledge and make sure that it matches what we're seeing, and don't necessarily listen to the imported people because they're a white guy, but listen to our local nutritionist here, then we can go forward. We can actually get our cost of production down to a point where we're competing against those guys. And then, of course, something that Dr. Young does with her artificial insemination program and an embryo transfer program, where you try to maximize on the genetics that you have here, where you're selecting the mothers that are going to give you the 3 kids, the minimum 2 kids that actually wean them, that are, as Dr. O'Brien would say, parasite resistant. If we can focus on things like that, look at the resources that we have, I think we can definitely compete against the dump meat that is out there.
Got it. And amen to that, Doc. I appreciate your passion and I appreciate you coming on. And you're welcome to come visit us anytime. Anytime.
Thank you. Actually, Khalil did mention that. It's been about 6 months since I've visited. I mostly visit poultry farmers, but I always wanted to be a goat farmer myself, but instead
you can live your passion through us,
Yeah, I'll see it through you. I invested.
Yeah, there's lots of goat farmers that you can live your passion through. You know what I'm saying? And
I live back here.
Yeah, we appreciate the work you put in. Before you're a corporate person, I know that you're a corporate person. We still appreciate the work and the passion you show. And Khalil, thanks for the link. And that's it for us tonight, folks. And thanks to everyone that participated and be a part of this. Although we didn't have the guests that we thought we would, but we actually had, I think, an amazing session. And I thank you very much. And hope you come visit, Doc. All right? Okay.
Yeah. Oh, and one thing, I know that as you talk about appropriate technology, I did some research when I was at Bodle's using the cold press multi-nutrient block. And I think that is something that, Khalil, let's discuss that. Let's see if we can get it out there to the farmers. I would love for somebody to commercialize that. I'm happy to share the research work that we have on it. This is something that I think is also a game changer. So
well, Khalil, let's talk, bro. I'm all about new technology and new ways to do things. Let's have a conversation, Khalil. I want to be as efficient and as effective as I can be on my production. And I don't want the guest game. So thank you, and we'll see you guys next week.
Welcome. Thank you, guys.
Okay,
bye.
Thanks. Bye. I think that was better than the